Welcome. We are here on day 15 of the Hormozi Experiment. I just got back from the gym about 45 minutes to an hour ago, had a nice shower. Now we're about to eat meal 2 of the day, a gigantic bowl of pasta. And this meal will get me to over 500 grams of carbs. And the title of this live stream right now is Eating 500 grams of carbs before noon. Today, unfortunately, I slept in a little bit. I was up a little late last night. If you guys check out some of my upcoming vlogs, I'm going to mention that I've been experimenting with having some naps. I find after slamming a gigantic bowl of carbs like this, after an hour or so, I kind of feel a little tired, and I have the opportunity to take advantage of getting some naps in. So I'm experimenting with that. So stayed up a little late last night because I had a good nap during the day yesterday, but we are here. And so I slept in today. So it's actually 1 p.m. right now, but typically I've been slamming this whole big bowl of pasta here. This is about 350 grams of carbs right here alone. And I've been smashing this every day for the last 15 days before noon. And it's been pretty crazy. So I thought, day 15, I just recorded the full AM workout. I just did 7 sets of 25 reps of 700-pound leg press. Think about that for a second. 700-pound leg press for 25 reps. And then do that 7 times. I just got back from the gym from doing that. I'm finishing my 4th 3-day cycle on the Hormozi Experiment, and my gosh, I don't know if this is legit, but I'm feeling results in my chest. I can feel it in my glutes. It's going to be interesting to see if it transitions over into photos, but yeah, the results are pretty interesting with this crazy Hormozi experiment that I'm doing. So I thought I'd go live here, smash this down, and do kind of like a mukbang live stream. So I'm just basically going to eat this. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. If not, I'm just going to talk shit and rant and talk about things. So cheers, world. Here we go. Besides one day, Mother's Day, which I think was like 3 or 4 days ago, I didn't eat this. But for the last 15 days straight, I've been eating this big bowl of pasta. Every day. And honestly, it's not that bad. This diet, it's like a cheat day each day. The last few days, having to get this, as well as my last meal of the day, my oatmeal meal, I've been having to kind of force it in at the end. Like you'll see here, I'll probably reach a state of where it's not enjoyable anymore. And if you guys watched, I recorded on the very first day, I think, that I did this. I smashed the whole bowl of pasta down like it was no problem. And now, it's starting to, it's still enjoyable to eat all this, but it's not like eating the volume every single day is a little oh my God. We're going to wolf this down here. We got a question in the chat there. You guys have any questions? Feel free to throw it in there. I'm just going to talk shit while I mukbang this pasta down. What is your sugar intake? So right now, hopefully I'm not getting this all over my beard. Right now I'm eating 800 grams of carbs a day for 6 weeks for this crazy Hormozi experiment that I'm doing. So this bowl of pasta here is about 300 to 350 grams of carbs. When I finish this will be my second meal of the day, and I don't know if you guys can see it here, but I'm already going to be over 500 grams of carbs for the day. So I just need to get 300 more grams of carbs in. But yeah, this is Alex Hormozi wrote an article about how he allegedly gained 35 pounds naturally in 6 weeks doing this program that I'm doing. I'm copying his workout, his diet, basically everything verbatim for the most part. And he got the concept based off an article written on a scientific study that questions, if you're gonna bulk, if you're gonna purposely eat in a caloric surplus to gain muscle, that's your main priority and your goal. What is the most optimal or efficient way to do it to maximize the muscle gains that you can get. And if you guys want to see this study and this article, I made a whole video about it. The title's called like something, if you go high carb, go really high carb, or go really high, or something like that. But the study looked at what happened if you went in a caloric surplus versus like, just most people just kind of do a small bulk where they only do like maybe 500 calories in a surplus. And maybe that is good. But what if you want to put on the max amount of muscle naturally that you possibly can? Well, they did a study. And in this study, what they did is they increased people's caloric intake by like over 1,000. So like a high caloric surplus. So like you're going to put on fat. Like you're not going to slow bulk with that, right? And what they did is there's a lot going on with the study. Again, go check out the video. But for the most part, the conclusion is that the people who went in a high carb caloric surplus and kept their fat levels low were actually able to gain significant more muscle growth compared to just going in a surplus where you don't care what you eat so much. Like you're just trying to go in a caloric surplus, so you're having high levels of fat as well too. So that's the whole purpose of this experiment where I'm eating 800 grams of carbs a day. And I'm not sure if I mentioned it on here, but I'm working out 2 times a day, 6 days a week. So in the morning, I go to the gym. I got back from my AM workout this morning. I did 7 sets of 7 reps of 195-pound bench press. That took me about 40 minutes. And then I did 7 sets of 25 reps of 700-pound leg press. And that was not easy. God damn. It's not easy. It's getting hard on those. And then you do those for 3 days, and then you take a rest day. So tomorrow's a rest day for me, and then you do it again for 3 days, but you increase the bench press by 5 to 10 pounds, and you increase the leg press by 50 pounds. So when I started this 15 days ago, my leg press was at like 550 pounds. Now it's at 700 pounds. After my rest day tomorrow, it's going to go up to 750 pounds for 3 days. Then it's going to go up to 800 pounds, and I do that for another like 3 weeks or so. And then on top of all that, each 3 days that I'm discussing there's still a PM workout. So I'm going to slam this down. We'll see if I feel like I need a nap or not. But then I'm going to crank out like 4 hours on the computer and then go back to the gym for the PM workout. And this is the last day of the 4th 3-day cycle, if that makes sense. Last day of the 4th 3-day cycle. And today is like arm day and shoulders and calves and stuff. So overall, the workouts aren't too crazy, but it's the fact you're doing 2 workouts a day. I have a video coming out very soon. In the first week, I did over 1,000 reps of leg press. In the first week, because you're doing 175 reps 6 days a week. It's crazy. We got Bent Neeson here. He left a comment, so we're going to read that in a sec. I just want to make sure I'm slamming this down. The bowl is not going down. Ben says, sounds interesting. 30 years ago, a bodybuilder told me to eat as much pasta to build muscle. What sauce do you use? So I got some like sauce from Costco. It's a Tuscany marinara sauce. But what Alex Hormozi says in his article and what I did is I made sure to get the low-fat pasta. I mean the low-fat sauce. Because again, the goal is to keep your fat levels as low as you possibly can. But yeah, if you guys are new to the Hormozi Experiment, go check out some of the videos on my channel. I think I have up to like day 6 vlogged out on the channel. Day 7's dropping tomorrow. And then what I did is I did like a 3-day kind of like documentary of day. So day 8 would be rest day. So 9, 10, 11 is going to be one video. And then I have an update on day 12. Where I'll be discussing like my transition from going to being a daily intermittent faster, because I just fast every single day for like 16 to 20 hours typically, and then some days I'm doing like 40 45, 46, and still going to the gym fasted. So in that video, I'm going to discuss like how I feel overall taking on this diet. Because like now I'm eating throughout the day and eating a lot of carbs. And what I'll discuss in that video, I'll give you guys a little teaser here, is like I'm feeling like bouts of anxiety throughout the day, anxiousness. I find I'm getting more irritable a lot quicker over silly little things. And it's nothing that's like ruining my day or my lifestyle or anything like that, but it's just, it's something that I'm aware of and I can feel. I'll be sitting there on the computer and cranking workout, and I'm just like feeling like anxious. I'm like, why am I feeling anxious? Why am I feeling this like feeling of anxiety? And then something wrong will happen, and I'll get like overly frustrated. Not like throw things or go into roid rage or anything, but it's like I can just feel myself frustrated. Versus like when you're in the middle of a 16-hour fast, dude, anything in the world could go wrong. I'm just like, not actually like that, but it's like you just don't give a fuck as much. Less bothers you when you're in that fasted state. I don't get those periods in anxiousness and anxiety feelings. The bowl is going down, guys. Look, we're making it through it. It's still pretty hot, eh? It's steaming. Steaming. But what's going on with you guys? I see some people here watching. Where are you guys watching from? I'm so glad tomorrow's a rest day. Oh my gosh. I almost felt like I was going to throw up today after the 6th and 7th set of leg press. Oh. It's not easy anymore. Oh, Ben, watching from Denmark. What's going on, man? That's great. What time is it there? It's like 1 p.m. here in London, Ontario, Canada. Denmark. I guess that's at least like 6-8 hours behind or ahead. So it's probably like 8 to 10 p.m. ish where you are. Man, it's still so good, even day 15. It's good for me, like, I'm kind of a marathon person. Like, once I adapt to something, a lifestyle, a certain way of eating, I'm just like, all right, that's what I do. I order the same type of burritos all the time. I'll eat the same thing like 5 days a week. I don't care. I'm not picky on what I eat. And especially this, like eating carbs, it's awesome. It's so like, I just want to inhale this. 1913. What's 1913? I think that's like 9:15 p.m. ESH says, have another question, not about the new experiment, but about how to work out without having sore muscles and joints. My doctor's having me tested for RA. I'm relatively young, but any tips? And he's from Texas. What's up, man? What's RA? I'm not sure what RA is. Rheumatoid arthritis? Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm just another human being in this world like you. I'm not going to try to pretend like I'm a health advocate or I'm a scientist or a doctor or anything and can tell you what to do and you need to do with your life, especially based off just like a quick comment on a live stream. But what I can say is for me, in my experiences and people that I've seen and worked out with over the years and watched people grow and develop, I think there's a catalyst of several things, but it's like taking it slow and steady and easy based off your own body. I think a lot of people push too hard. Like I'm showing that I'm doing 700 pounds of leg press, but if you go back and watch my videos from like 2015, before I took my hiatus off YouTube, I realized what happened with me is that I was, throughout high school, I was like that. I wasn't chubby or fat, but I had a layer of fat that I could never really get away. Like I never had a six pack. And having a six pack for me was something that I desired and I wanted to achieve it. It was like frustrating to me that throughout high school I played football and did all this stuff, and I had kind of like an outline of abs at times, but also did stuff like I bulked for football and things like that. But anyways, it wasn't until I was like 21 or 22 when I really got like into intermittent fasting and leaned down that I realized like my body has a lot of weak points. I believe structurally, like my rib cage is lopsided, which affects a lot of the way I lift and the way I do things. I think there's a lot of people out there, a lot of influencers who have great genetics, and they give out advice and people who don't have great genetics take it and then wonder why they can't get good results, or why they're not getting similar results. Once I managed to get lean from intermittent fasting, I realized, I was like, oh wow, because I have this lopsidedness with my rib cage, which affects my shoulders, which affects my trap, like it affects everything, and even affects when I do double movements. Like you might be able to see it a little bit here. But I realized I finally got lean and I was like, wow, because I have these weak points, like because I have this structurally with my body, my lower back is extremely overdeveloped because it always takes over during certain lifts, which long term wouldn't be healthy. Like I'm not healthy, but like I'd probably hurt myself if I just kept lifting the same way I was lifting. And I had like big shoulders, but like no chest. And there were all these things. And again, I break this down in previous videos. I don't want to talk about it too much here. But anyways, the meaning of this story is that it wasn't until I got lean that I realized like, holy shit, I work out hard, I do good work, and I can put on muscle, but I'm not doing the lifts correctly, and I need to start from scratch. And I started from scratch on everything. Bench press, whatever I was doing, 200 pounds, I started back to the bar. And then for just 3 to 6 months, I really focused on my form and technique and try to take things slow and work into it to the point now where, like again, I'm doing like 700 pound leg press, and you're going to see that's going to be going up a lot more in the coming weeks. And again, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I've seen a lot of guys who, even that I've like lived with and worked with, who were the great genetics guys. Like they had just a great physique, great body, very symmetrical, everything was on point. They ate like crap, didn't care about what they did outside of the gym, yet they were able to get great results in regards to their physique and muscularly. But they would do things too, like take 6 months off the gym and then go back into the gym and try to squat 300 pounds and then get a hernia. And it's like, well, I think there's just this mentality of having to go hard or push yourself hard. And yes, I think so, but also understanding like your own body's limitations and how to, like, this is a marathon game, guys. If you want to grow muscle naturally, like I got another 3 to 6 years where I know I could just keep putting on muscle naturally. And then when I'm in my late 30s, early 40s, it's just going to naturally, my natural growth hormone levels are going to decrease drastically. And I can still put on muscle, but won't be able to put on as much muscle as I can right now. So I'm like, I don't want to push myself to failure on reps and sets because like I don't want to injure myself. I don't want to hurt myself. I don't want to do certain lifts that might not be good and symmetrical for my body. So again, I don't know how to help you here with rheumatoid arthritis or anything like that. But what I would just say is like, you know, as you progress in the gym, your muscles are going to be sore. And I experience it too. Like I feel like my body cracks and pops and does all these fucking things. And that's something in a video I'm going to have probably coming up in the future about like, I don't believe I have good genetics, but I also don't believe I have bad genetics. I just don't have good genetics. And I'm going to cover some of these things about my limitations and what I do to try to overcome them. But I think it's just like, think of this as a marathon. Like every day you can go in that gym, you can work a little harder, you can put a little bit more effort in safely, and you're growing, you're learning, you're doing the form and the technique better. Like, this is just a marathon game. It's a long game. And you said you're relatively young. Like, if you're in your 20s, like, dude, you're 15 years behind me. Like, you got so much more that if I would have known the things that I know now and applied it when I was your age, like, I probably would have been a lot better off. Just keep learning, but also just don't take everyone's advice for 100%. I think there's so many of these guys. A lot of these influencers now on steroids where I just don't believe we should be taking the same advice as they are. They're able to recover so much faster, put on muscle so much differently. They can go so much harder in the gym, push to failure in every set, where as a natural lifter, I just don't think that's possible. I think it's a marathon, it's volume over time. Bent says, I never could work out more than 3 days a week. Today I only work out week 1, 2 days a week, and week 2, once that week, and the workouts are only 30 minutes long, but I'm 63 years old. Yeah, again, it all depends with where you're at along your journey. As I mentioned here, and I mentioned in a video I dropped a few days back called my philosophy on bodybuilding naturally. I showed a scientific study where it shows in men, so you have 2 types of sleep, right? You probably heard of REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. The way I like to describe that, that's like your brain defragging and your brain recovering from the day. And then there's slow wave sleep. So you have this period of REM sleep and then slow wave sleep. And then REM sleep again is slow wave sleep. And you go through about 4 cycles of that throughout the night. Now, during the slow wave sleep is where your body is just dumping all the hormones and your growth hormone and recovery. This is like what I like to say is your slow wave sleep is when your body's recovering. Rapid eye movement, your brain's recovering. Slow wave sleep is when your body's recovering. And so much hormones are getting dumped into it. But in that study, around the 3rd to 4th decade of life, for most men, it's in their late 30s and early 40s. During your slow wave sleep, the amount of growth hormone your body dumps into your body naturally drastically decreases. So that's something I have to heavily consider. That like I enjoy lifting and going to the gym and bodybuilding. I have no intention of stepping out on a stage ever. I know I don't have a symmetrical body. I know I would never win. And I just don't like the idea of like that whole thing. People comparing you standing up naked on a stage next to other dudes. Like, it's cool if other people want to do it. And I think it's great. We need that in the world. But like for me, I'm just like, I have no intention of ever doing that. So what is my intention and purpose? Well, my intention and purpose is just, I want to be big. I want like my physique to like demonstrate for me when I walk into a room that I can have authority in certain areas. I think if you have a big body and it's noticeable, like it commands authority, it commands attention, it commands respect. Like it shows your discipline. It shows you can do this stuff, even if you are taking steroids. But again, this whole muscle growth thing, it's a marathon. And this marathon for me is going to get drastically harder in the next 3 to 6 years. Because that's just when my natural growth hormone levels are going to start to decrease. Because that's what happens for men. ESH says, that's cool. Been watching your videos for years. Oh man, that's awesome. Thank you. You're 41. Your videos are inspirational. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I'm just trying to be me, do me. I like pushing myself. Like pushing my body and my mind to its limits and seeing what's possible. And I like proving things. I think this experiment is legit. And I think if a lot of people knew it was possible to do something like this, it's not easy. It's a lot of work, but it's like a cheat code and a hack to put on a lot of muscle naturally. And I believe if a lot of young men knew, like, yo, instead of taking steroids, because I feel like that's the only option to get muscle growth fast. You know, I've been doing this weightlifting, this bodybuilding thing for 2, 5 years, 10 years now. And like, I love it, but like the results aren't coming fast enough. Well, what if you did like a 6-week sprint? Or that's what you just focus on. One of your main priorities in life was muscle growth. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. That's what I'm experimenting with this. Going to the gym 2 times a day, 6 days a week, and eating 800 grams of carbs. And like, I described in a video that I've recorded today, like today's the 3rd day of the 4th 3-day cycle. So the last 3 days straight, I did 700 pounds of leg press for 175 reps. And I'm not sore. Like, I'm not sore in my quads, in my legs, my glutes, my chest, and I'm doing all this bench press. Like, how am I not sore? How am I recovering so fast? And how can I feel like I'm putting on muscle? Like, I put on 12, 13 pounds in the last 15 days, and it doesn't look like it's just going gross fat. I can see myself putting on some fat, and it's noticeable, but it feels different. I don't know how to describe it. But last couple pieces of pasta here. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Usually I'm just eating this by myself while working on the computer, so appreciate having you guys here. The questions and comments that came in, but boom, there is meal 2 on day 15 of the Alex Hormozi Experiment. Just finished 500 grams of carbs for the day. It is 1:26 in the afternoon. I'm gonna crank out 3 to 4 hours on the computer. I got a couple meetings coming up. And then after that, we're back to the gym for the PM workout and then have a rest day tomorrow. So really appreciate having you guys here. If you don't know anything about the Hormozi Experiment, go check out some of the other videos on the channel, and I will see you in the next live stream. Thanks so much for watching. I am the Hungarian Experiment.